Hello, Simon Scriber here again. How are you? Good. Doing another fundraising video. I'm just back from the International Fundraising Congress, the IFC, in Holland, one of the biggest fundraising events in the world. About 1,000 fundraisers there, and I was lucky enough to be speaking there about telephone fundraising, and getting a chance to meet some of the best fundraisers around the world, some celebrities in my eyes, fundraising celebrities, and just some good, beautiful people. It was absolutely awesome. And if you can go, you definitely should go if you're into fundraising. So I was talking on telephone fundraising and kind of where trying to help people improve or even start their telephone fundraising, and talking about some of the problems with telephone fundraising, why there's more and more like heavy scripting of callers, poor training, all these things trying to bring down the cost of it, and then results kind of suffering because of that. And as well, talking about why people are beginning to overlook telephone in terms of instead looking at this funky, fashionable new media, all this online stuff, all this SMS giving, and people beginning to think that this stuff is better than voice, better than telephone, better than face to face, because it's so hyped and because there's so much money behind it. And really, what I'm trying to, I think, get people to realize with this seminar is that you will never beat voice, and you will never beat face to face because we're humans. So really trying to tackle that perception, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about that today because it came up. It was you can see it even at the conference. There's not like you can read all the articles you want, and you can read all the books you want online, but nothing compares to that. These conferences where you're interacting with humans and people reaching out and hugging to you, and the passion in their voices when they talk about the work they do, and it's yet again another reminder that voice is everything. So one of the tweets I saw while I was over there was from a guy at Blackboard, and he was quoting someone at one of the Blackboard events saying that online giving is the new normal, which is a really strange thing for someone from Blackboard to tweet, because Blackboard does excellent research, and one of the research figures that they found was that online giving is only 6.4% of total giving. 6.4%, which is tiny, and it makes you realize that online just isn't as big as what people think it is. You see huge numbers floating around about SMS giving and about all these viral campaigns online, but they're still such a tiny fraction of what we're doing as fundraisers. It's totally misleading. It's misleading for a lot of different reasons. I think the biggest problem with these online vendors and suppliers and these online statistics is they completely confuse the motivator for donating with the method of donating. So the donating online and donating by SMS is it's a transaction, but that's not why people donate. And if you've set up an SMS text to donate, now you'll see that the texts don't just come in because you've set it up. They come in because you prompt people to do it. So like for me, like SMS and online giving, it's replacing cash, and it's replacing checks, and it's replacing these medium to give. But cash doesn't just land on you, and checks don't just arrive in the post. You have to prompt them with amazing fundraising, and with voices, and with you, and with human interaction. And people just don't. These suppliers, either they don't get it, or they're purposely holding that back. Like the website we created, sponsor.ie, shameless advertisement there. Sponsor.ie doesn't raise anything. It's the fundraisers who set up on the webpage because they've been personally affected by it, and they reach out to their friends who they've known for 20, 30 years and ask them for a donation, and that's the fundraising part of it. The other bit is just the facility. It's just a method of giving. So I mean, this stuff, it's just not going to replace human interaction anytime soon. As long as humans remain humans, as long as we're born through a human being, and as long as we're raised with love and touch and voice, that's always what we're going to thirst for. Online is cool, and I love online, but it'll never replace that human feeling. And if we try and think it will, it's ridiculous. It's just crazy. I mean, I think the facility will get popular, more and more popular. So SMS and online will get more and more popular. That 6.4% of online giving will go up and up and up. And in maybe 10, 15 years, it'll replace offline, maybe. But I mean, we've got a lot of time there, so what's the point in putting in so much of our budget into that? Should we be putting in 6.4% of our budget into online and the rest of it into offline? Is that proportionate? And even that, that idea, where I think that 10 to 15 years it might overtake offline. Like 10 to 15 years, what's going to happen in 10 to 15 years? These suppliers who talk about SMS and online and crowdfunding online and things like that. Like, are we naive to think that this stuff is even going to exist in 10 to 15 years? Like, SMS will almost certainly be obsolete in 10 to 15 years. Credit cards will probably be obsolete in 10 to 15 years. Like, can we even picture what the internet will be like in that time? And then beyond that, getting, extra deep. Like in 20 to 30 to 40 years, are we going to reach this singularity where within our bodies, in our blood cells, we have these microcomputers and we are this artificial superhuman intelligence? I mean, at that point, is offline obsolete? Possibly. But it's just like, it's impossible to imagine. And so at the end of the day, I just think, you still got to put your budget where the money's coming from, and that's offline. As long as we're humans, voice will always win, face-to-face will always win, but that stuff will always drive people to use the most convenient way to donate, which is very possibly SMS and online, and we just have to be realistic about that if we want fundraising to work. That's it. Thanks very much. Leave your comments. I'd love to hear. See you again. Bye-bye.